into everything we have to say for the next 40 minutes, exactly.
On the
I
dot.
do not endorse that. I do not endorse that.
We apologize in advance.
I like how the first thing Dan said was the F word. That was amazing.
And I
The
missed
first
it. I wasn't
thing.
even recording yet.
How did you miss that? Come on.
Well, he just starts talking. You know? He's lawless. This is total anarchy.
It's going to get real bad real
He is
fast.
lawless.
This
Look
is
at
going to be
him.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
So-
Well, we are at the Pittsburgh Retro Gaming Convention. I am Sikes from Start the Beat with Sikes, and I am joined by my good friends in the Grownup Human Comic people. Say what up to the people.
We're going to steal other people's intros.
Yep.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, we're here. Welcome to the show. We're here at the Pittsburgh Retro Gaming Con. It's awesome. We have Sikes. I have four of my fellow humans here. This is the Start the Beat / Grown-Up Human Comic People podcast. Once again, welcome to the show. Why don't we go around and we'll just announce everybody. Traditionally to my left, Brian.
What up? I'm Sikes, host of Start the Beat with Sikes. And then to my left,
It's Daniel, the only Daniel on Grown Up Human Comic People. You can find me 7 days a week at your mom's house making pancakes. I've been making pancakes with moms in Cuba for the last 10 days, and I'm still a little turned. So it's good to be home.
You're not the only
Welcome
Daniel.
back. Welcome back. It's good to have you back.
yeah, we're glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Old Greg, say something.
This is Greg. Glad to be partying with people of all ages right now. Hey, y'all.
You made it sound illegal. Jesus. Oh, man.
We're happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I am Chris. That's enough.
And I'm Dan. My name's also Daniel, but there's only one Daniel on the podcast, so I'm
Yeah.
Dan.
And only one Dan for that,
That's
for that
right.
matter.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
You know, it's not it's not a usual thing where I get to hold like a fifth, or not a fifth, what is this? I guess
a pint butt.
a pint of liquor in front of all kinds of people. Just little kids and older people. And we should probably be filming this actually too.
Well, to reel this in, I was thinking that today, being we are two different podcasts joined, mine being about music and theirs being about comics, I wanted to talk today about the influence of video games on music and comic books throughout the years.
Yeah.
And
At
being
least
as
for 10 minutes, maybe.
Well, let's get I'm gonna get some plugs out of the way real fast.
Oh, yeah. I guess we should do that.
Yeah.
That's
so,
fine.
And you're gonna put your plugs in the beginning or somewhere.
I mean, I could do it now, too, so the
Okay.
people listening.
All right. So, yeah, you can find us at grownuphumans.com, epicastnetwork.com /grownuphumans. Shout out to Epicast. Nick is over there somewhere from Black Forge.
Nick from Black Forge, what
Nick,
up?
What's up, Nick? I know you're over there.
Stop
having
by and
good
get a
time.
punch card.
Yeah. Stop by Black Forge Coffee and get a punch card. It's been on the news. It's awesome. It's great job on those. I love that. When I heard that yesterday, I died.
That was
I
great.
texted Nick right away, and I was like, dude, nice job.
Yep.
Yeah.
You made the news for making punch cards. Excellent.
I posted that on Reddit, and I have never gotten death threats before yesterday when I posted that on Reddit.
No way, really?
That's the first. Oh, death threats, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even have a leaning side. I was just like, hey, look what these cool people at the coffee shop are doing in Pittsburgh. And it was like, I will kill your mother. I will kill you, your mother, your dog. I'll resurrect your dog to kill your mother again. These people were vicious.
Oh, my goodness.
So just for anybody who doesn't know, so over at Black Forge, they have a repeat customer punch card, and there's instead of just little circles, there are pictures of the top brass of the government right now, and they punch
Republicans.
right through the foreheads of each one of them every time you get a punch, and people are mad.
Very
People
mad.
are not happy about it.
The news wasn't very happy
Excellent.
either.
Yeah. The news isn't happy either. No one's happy about it.
I don't understand.
It's excellent.
Well, guess what? KDKA, you're next. We're going to have all your anchors, morning anchors, afternoon anchors, evening anchors. You're next.
You want to criticize? You get a punch card too.
Dan, you need a punch card for the shop, and I think you should follow suit here.
It should be all of us. That'd be amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of a good
That's
idea.
a great idea.
I'll take a fake
Brian, you can be on there too.
assassination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would definitely get my forehead punched a hole in for the benefit of Southside Comics.
Yeah.
For sure.
Certainly.
Back to the plugs. Speaking of
yeah,
Southside Comics.
Back to the plugs, yeah. Let's go to Southside Comics. Dan, tell them
Yeah.
where you can find them.
1931 East Carson Street. We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary if you haven't been to the store yet. We are in the old Commonwealth Press spot, right across from the art store. If you would like a 15% off coupon, come on up to our table right now. We have them. And yeah, check us out. We're on the web too.
We got go to radicaltrivia.com if you want to come out and do some awesome trivia shows around town. You can find all the shows on there. Greg, tell them about Midnight Rose real fast.
Oh, there's a band called Midnight Rose. Everybody here would love it. It's old, classic rock and roll in the heavy sense of the words, and 70s-esque. All the outfits and all the stuff that you guys love about music. Anyway, so that's us. You can see us playing sometime this summer, spring, and buy our album whenever it gets released, which will be real soon.
Midnight Rose is life. Also check out metamesh.org. Becky's not here right now, but shout out to her and to Monkey who run Metamesh.
Shout out to Becky.
Yep. And Brian, all your things.
Yeah. If you're not familiar with me, if you're new to the show, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at The Real Sikes. The podcast as well has a little page on Facebook. Just go to your little search bar, type in Start the Beat. You'll find me, and you'll find the rest of these schmucks that I'm sitting with all at the Epicast website, which is at www.epicastnetwork.com.
Yes.
Free video games. Pay attention to us. Free video games.
We have free video games over here.
We have free video
They're
games.
all free, right in the corner
We got
over
an eye-
here.
Somebody looked at us.
We're in the back corner.
We are.
We don't have any video
just
games.
plain old lying about that.
And
That's
Fabergé
not
eggs.
a thing.
We
We're
have
not
free
doing that.
Fabergé eggs.
Yeah, but there are free Fabergé eggs.
Yes.
All the ones that have been stolen throughout the years.
We have those.
all of those.
It's a secret only with this con right now.
We do have some raffles. We have a custom pizza plate signed by everybody here at this table. Tickets are only $1. So this plate has been eaten off of. There was pizza on it earlier today. We then, before our official sign showed up, we made a sign out of the pizza plate, and now you can win that. And it's a one-of-a-kind item, and tickets are $1.
You can see a picture of it on the Grownup Human Comic People Instagram,
Yes, I did take a picture of it.
IG,
Yes.
at Grownup Humans.
So if you want to own the plate that you've seen on Instagram already, you can own that. It's just $1. Come on over, get a ticket. We also have another raffle. We have a great Saga book. It's Saga number 1. A very rare book, and it is worth probably at least $1,000. So those tickets are $10. The plate tickets are $1. Come get some tickets and have a good time. I think it's about it for the plugs, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
just dive into it.
All right, let's go. Yeah, let's go for it. So,
So,
Brian.
starting off, I'm going to talk about music and video games. I like video game music a lot. I've always liked video game music a lot.
yeah, I personally listen to it sometimes in the car, like OC remixes of stuff. I love OC remix. Is it .org or .com? I don't know, but some video game music is, I think, some of the most brilliantly written music, especially 8-bit music,
Oh, totally.
because they only had, so many channels to work with.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody at this table was a producer or composer, but if you've ever tried to work in a program that you actually write 8-bit music in, it's like computer coding, literally. It's really, really intense. It's not just like, oh, I have sheet music. No, it's like you're writing music, but in like zeros, ones, twos, threes, ABC, and like it's all in like this like horizontal scrolling format. It's super primitive, but it's really cool.
It's really difficult.
That's
In high school we had Pascal class. So in the primitive programming language Pascal, you can make the computer's inner, sound whatever speaker, like the motherboard speaker, emit its own tones that are essentially 8-bit tones. And in order to write music, you have to give it the number of the tone you want.
Exactly, yeah.
And you have to figure out what each note is because like the tones aren't in regular music, like in steps.
Yeah, it's like 1 through 10.
It's frequencies.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out what frequency you're trying to get to, and it's extremely difficult, and it takes forever, and then you have to figure out the. Imagine doing something in Guitar Pro, but in binary.
Yeah.
It's insanely difficult.
There's a lot of really cool videos that you can find on YouTube of people who like compose music on stuff like LSDJ. And you could just, I would take like 5 minutes and try to use the program, and then like watch a video of someone that actually knows what they're doing, and you'll be like, what the?
How did you do
What
that?
the frick?
Thank you.
Nice save.
Yes.
What in the world?
What the flip-flops going on? No, because literally, when we showed up, I saw 0 children. When I showed up, I didn't see any kids.
Right.
As soon as you open up, you drop some F-bombs, you're getting comfortable. All of a sudden, you see a sea of children. Like, all I see are children. I think that 75% of the people here are under the age of 14 all of a sudden. It's like, I was like, oh, yep, I get to be that guy. I'm drunk Uncle Daniel. Come on over. Your mom's not going to let you hang very long. Like,
Dan, it's a video game convention. Why did you not think children would be here?
because look around. It looks like the high school class in 1998 showed up. It looks like it looks like the nerd squadrons from every high school in the greater Pittsburgh area have convened here. And we can be together comfortably. We don't have to worry about going to the bathroom anymore. We can go. Show of hands, who was really popular in high school?
One person gave you the finger. One person gave you the finger.
Fair enough. Half of you haven't gotten there yet. Half of you are on your way to high school. When you get there, don't worry. It's going to seem terrible. You're way cooler than everyone else there. But you're going to come back, and it's going to be like 2038, and you're going to be us. You're going to have a podcast. You're going to be playing video games. You're going to play all the PS4. Oh, my God, retro. Kids don't get it. Oh, man. Yeah, you're going to be us. You're probably going to say things you regret the next day. But you're going to be cooler than everyone else eventually.
I like
You're going to have a really tough 4 years.
I like how
Hang in there.
Of all
Hang
the
in
people
there.
at this table to say that to these people, like you're the worst person to say that. You look the least nerdy out of all of us.
You're standing up. You're jacked.
Listen, this is all a facade underneath of everything. This is an affect. I am a broken teenager who's still working through these.
Speaking of
Anyway, also, can somebody? I just need some more support. Who's mildly to moderately drunk in the afternoon?
is anybody?
Oh, come on.
this
Yeah.
guy right here.
Okay. There's
Yeah,
one guy.
excellent.
We got some
Yes.
honesty.
Who's had at least
two.
one beer? Who's had at least one beer
Who's
so
drinking? Who's drinking
Who's
now?
drinking right
Alcohol.
We know. We
far?
know
There's beer
you
right
are.
over there.
You got one.
If you don't know, there's a bar right over here, and if you're not drinking, you should be. And yes.
Mario's
perfect.
kicking them back. Plumbers get it.
Tip your bartenders,
Tip
absolutely.
your bartender, but
Yes.
the reason it's open is because you're supposed to drink in the afternoon.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
On a day like this, absolutely.
Tip your reseller. Tip your reseller.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. We should have him. Whenever you're free, you should tip them with beer. Get your reseller a drink, and they will really appreciate it.
That's probably the
Right,
best
yeah,
way to
they'll-
work out a deal with your reseller.
Yeah. How about 15% now?
You know, that $4 Dale's Pale Ale might get you like $50 off of something.
I feel like we need to give that
It's a
man
pro tip.
I'm gonna give him a swig of here. Somebody else talk right now.
I'm gonna try to reel this conversation back
Reel
in
it
for
in.
another 5 minutes, hopefully. Comic books. Let's talk about some of our favorite comic book to video game adaptations.
I thought you were gonna say comic book music, and I was like, I have at least 5 really favorite comic book music tracks.
And notable mentions over elsewhere as well. But you first. Go ahead.
Is this a
Yeah.
Chris list?
No, I was actually just being a dick. There's no music in comic books. It's a book.
No,
It's
I thought
impossible.
you were talking about. Never mind. You said comics, and I just my mind translated video games from that.
To be fair, some of them do have suggestions for music inside of them, and we can probably get to that in a bit here. Even actually, Brian, to answer your question, or redirect your question rather, some comic books have suggestions for music to listen to while you read, which I always appreciate.
Really?
Yeah. There's
Royal City was the most recent.
Yes. I think Rockstars had suggestions in the back.
Rockstars. What was the one that Greg didn't read?
Mayday.
Oh yeah,
Mayday?
Mayday.
Yeah.
Mayday. Yeah.
Yeah,
That one
Mayday
had
was-
suggestions in the
Is
back.
that just like a note that they put kind of like
yeah,
in the
like
forward or whatever?
sometimes it's in the book, in the pages itself. Sometimes it's in the back of the book. They'll say like, this is what I was listening to, or this is what you should read while.
Has anybody at this table actually ever listened to the music that the comic book suggested? Does it enhance your experience?
I haven't even read the comic book.
Not really. But I'm not like musically inclined, so
Is it
I'm
like-
not a good person to answer this question. But I do like whenever the book comes out, I will go on to Spotify, find the playlist, and I will play it in the store, while I read the book.
Super cool.
It is cool. I mean, it's cool to gain a little insight into the creators of the book, like what they're going for.
Yeah. I always see that note either in the book or in the back, and I'm like, that's a great idea. I should listen to that music, and I just don't.
I think the next time I put out an album, I'm just going to have a little note, like this is the music you should actually be listening to instead of this.
While you're listening to this track, listen to this track.
The next Ray Walker album.
While you're listening to this music, just mute it and put this album on.
Or no, you should have reading suggestions while you're listening.
Oh.
So this is what you should be reading while you're listening to this music.
See, I was thinking like a musical bibliography at the end of the liner notes, and say like, we're all. I mean, I guess that like, for that matter, like, why didn't Beastie Boys just like list all the in the bibliography, like, everything that they sampled and.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
actually.
I think
that
that's
would
pretty
be
cool.
really cool.
I wish more people would do that. Not
Well,
even joking.
Every once in a while, I'll listen to a song and I'll hear like a sample. What it's like clearly a sample. I'm like, I wonder what song that's from. And if you have a CD or something, it doesn't tell you. It never tells you where.
There's a website that's called Who Sampled Who,
Yeah.
and you can like find out pretty much,
Yeah.
for the most part, a lot of the samples that are in songs. If you
Yeah.
can just basically type in a song, and it'll tell you everybody that's ever sampled that song,
Right.
and then like vice versa.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
But,
we.
yeah. Question wasn't answered.
Right.
Comic book, to video game.
Comic book
Oh,
video
right.
games. So those are typically done by the smaller publishers like Dark
Yeah.
Horse or Boom or Titan. Like right now, there's an Assassin's Creed comic book by Titan. Dark Horse has the rights to Legend of Zelda. They don't have a comic book, but they do art books that are very popular.
Yeah.
Dark Horse considered a smaller publisher now?
Yeah.
Compared
I mean,
to
like
Marvel
there's
or
the big
DC.
two, and then everyone else is like fighting for
I feel
you
they've
know, a
always been a
percentage
pretty small
of
publisher.
I'd say like Image would be third,
Yeah.
probably. Like
It-
right
it-
below.
Image is probably third in the pie chart, if you would say.
Yeah.
And then everyone else is vying for position. IDW, they have some of the licensed products,
Yeah.
so all, like, they come out, they're typically limited series. They're really special interest, though. Like, like, if you like that stuff, you read it. If you don't, if you're not into that kind of stuff, then you're not going to buy the comic book. So it's a tough sell sometimes.
Yeah.
There was a what's the there's a Dark Souls comic.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls, yeah. I didn't.
That's
I read the
Titan.
first one.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty cool, actually. I liked the idea. It wasn't because Dark Souls is the story of Dark Souls is kind of like nebulous.
Yeah.
Where you're not entirely sure what's happening like most of the time until you get like probably about halfway through the first game. It's hard to know what the story actually is. So like the comic book can pretty much be anything as long as it's kind of resembles the story or the style of Dark Souls. And that comic is pretty cool. I've only read the first issue, but I liked it.
That's Titan. Archie Comics does Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man. And those have been going for a while. Like Sonic's like in the 200s, so I mean that's been in
I
publication.
remember
a while.
reading
Yeah.
the Sonic comic book when I was like a child,
Yeah,
like super, super young.
Yeah,
There was a Sonic comic.
still going. Like it's got its following,
I was talking to Chris before this, and I didn't think of the idea until I was here, but I was like, I have the first issue of the Mortal Kombat comic from
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
94,
Yes.
95. I was like,
Love
we should have
that.
like read that and talked about that.
Yeah.
That would have been
DC
super relevant.
DC just did a Mortal Kombat X 10, I guess. I don't
I
know.
think
or
that
don't
the
know.
one that I have was like Malibu Publishing or something.
Yeah.
Malibu Publishing.
Yeah, because so
God.
I had the like the strategy guide for Mortal Kombat 2 or 3. I think it was actually 1 and 2. It was a combination book.
Ooh.
And but in the back of it or in the middle of it there was the full Mortal Kombat, like there was probably like 3 or 4 issues in the middle of the book.
Oh,
This
that's-
thing was like really thick. It was awesome back in the days of strategy guides. I'm
Oh.
sure that everybody here
Nintendo Power.
well, not everybody. The people who are 25 or older remember strategy guides that were physical things. You could buy them, and you would. It was so cool. Like you got to see if it was for Super Nintendo or Genesis, you could see the different screenshots from the systems and like compare side by side which graphics were better.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
they
like-
still make strategy guides.
Do they still make strategy guides?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Why would anybody buy
Because
that shit?
well, you get
Oh,
the
really?
art.
Card stuff.
Okay.
It's the art.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
That makes
still,
sense.
yeah, I
There's
still
nothing
do
like
keep my
Nintendo
strategy guides because
Power,
it's
is
like
there?
it's like a little diary. Like, oh, I remember
what?
going through and
Yeah.
playing that thing without setting back up the system. It's like watching a long play on YouTube.
I had a friend in high school who was really into reading through strategy guides, even games he wasn't actively playing at the time. He would just read through the books on the bus.
He's like, yeah, I beat that game. Like you didn't play that game? No, I beat it. I know how to beat it.
So weird.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The tip
got-
hotlines are great. Yeah, bring him over. Bring
We
him
got
over. Bring him
cartridges
over.
galore over
Yeah,
here.
what I was saying was that I really miss being able to call the tip hotline and then also reading those tip sections in like Nintendo Power or
Yeah.
Game Pro. Yeah, and
Just a question: who do you think was manning the tip hotline phones?
That's a good
Like,
question.
who was that guy? Was it like you?
I don't know,
you
but as a child, I aspired to be that guy.
Yeah.
right,
Just
of
like
course.
the god, all the info.
Like, and do you think they were like sitting around? It was sort of like a party line, like a bunch of dudes at their mom's house who were like, just in their like mid-20s, playing video games. They get a phone call. Jerry, it's a hotline. It's a hotline. Mom, and now, hello. I told you last time. Back, up, down, A, B. That's it. Who do you think seriously? Like, or was it one of the, like the major like?
Were they exasperated every time they picked up the
Yeah,
phone?
like maybe they work for like the third-party companies like Capcom or Konami or something like
Right.
that, or
Right.
maybe they're just the uber nerds.
I've never met anybody who's done that before. So like that would be a really interesting person to if you met somebody at a
Absolutely, yeah,
like
yeah.
you're talking to somebody at a bar, they're like, yeah, man, what do you do? It's like, well, I used to be a tip hotline guy for video games. You'd be like, what?
Hold on, let's ask the crowd.
let me just
okay,
pick your
anybody
brain.
who's paying attention to this right now, have any of you ever met someone who is the tip hotline guy for video games? Anyway, if you have, please come over here and tell
And
us
will
about
you
that
sign
person.
my chest?
Or if you've called the tip hotline, come over and tell us about the experience.
Yes, yeah. If you've ever been on a
Thank you,
video
guys.
game tip hotline,
Quick
we'd
shout
like
out to
you to know.
Cartridges Galore video games. What was your
Cartridges
name,
Galore.
man? Nick from
Nick.
Cartridges Galore.
Nick from Cartridges Galore.
Hey,
yeah,
Nick.
Go check them out.
Well-
Looks like they have
he's across the way
some
from us.
stores.
Yep.
10. They have
10
10
stores.
stores.
Wow.
That's a lot of stores.
great.
That's Cartridges Galore,
Don't
literally.
become Video Game Exchange, please. Don't become that.
I actually,
Because all of my old video games fell victim to that cheating store. Those hooligans
Those
trying not to
chiselers.
say those chiseling
Sons of guns.
sons of guns.
chiseling.
Yes.
They're just making the statue of David.
Yeah, no, they chisel your money away. Is what they're doing. They're just chipping away your money. That's what they do.
I actually have a story about the video game tip line. When I was younger, a wee lad, and I got my first PlayStation with Final Fantasy VII.
Nice.
And my friends and I were like trying to grind through it, and there was the tip line, and it was a 1-900 number to get this tip line. It was like $5 a minute for tips on Final Fantasy VII. So we were at my friend Jordan's house, and I saw it in the back of a comic book, and I was like, hey, we could just call and like get the tips off here. This is like what, 96, I think, when this happens. And he's like, all right, well, I guess I can just like, steal one of my parents' credit cards and we'll just do that. And we spent like an hour on the phone at $5 a minute.
Well, because in those games, like, there's a lot of running you have to do. So the guy's like, okay, so run north.
Oh, you got to do another battle? Yeah, I'll wait.
Oh, there's a battle. Okay, I'll wait.
Well, what happened was we just thought, we were like, all right, we got past this part. It took us an hour. That's fine. A month later, dude's dad gets his credit card bill. And he comes in and he asked all of us over to this kid's house. And we all sit down in the living room. And he's like perfectly calm. He's like, all right, listen, guys. You're at that age. We got to talk about the birds and the bees. And we're like, what are you talking about? And he's like, you guys dialed a 1-900 number. I was like, no, that's to beat Final Fantasy VII. And he was furious because we spent it on video games.
He thought you
And not a porn hotline, yeah.
He thought you at least heard some dirty words or something.
Yeah. He was like, what are you doing?
It wasn't even a visual.
You spent all my money on video games? There's like an 18% interest rate on that credit card to beat Final Fantasy VII?
Like, I would have bought you the strategy guide.
Yeah, it was like $20.
For $19.99. Those are still around. They haven't discontinued those yet.
No.
The question is, how much did it cost to beat Final Fantasy VII in 1995? $430.
Oh, I'm sure.
Plus the cost of the game.
Absolutely.
So-
485.
Oh, no. So like 550. Because
Yeah.
back in the day, video games were like $60 to $70.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, kind of standard now. It's all that's weird because like back in the day, like the price of video games hasn't changed very drastically since like 1990.
No, for sure.
They've
for
always
sure.
been $50 to $70.
I remember when Mortal Kombat 2 came out
Yeah.
and like begging my mom to buy it, and it was like $75 at Babbage's.
Yeah, and she was like, "That's an insane amount of money. That's today. That's
For
like
then, that was an
that's like
insane amount.
$175 now. Like
Yeah.
that's insane to me.
What?
That we used to actually pay that much money for video games.
Who are you kidding? We. Where were we getting money when we were 10?
Whoa. Okay, every video game. My mom, her policy was that she would not buy me any video games. So everything before, like actually every video game I've ever owned, I bought myself.
Well, how are you making money at 11?
Being nice and getting an allowance.
Okay,
He's a really good-looking boy. Just want to say.
Being nice.
I was really nice to people, and I convinced them to do things for me. No, my Super Nintendo was the first video game I bought, and I bought it because I got a job in an advertisement for lens crafters, and I had big, stupid, like, 90s glasses.
You were a model.
And yes, I was a child model.
You're always a model.
I was a child model, and
So-
I made $250. And
Autograph.
my mom was like, "What do you want to do with this? You probably put it in your savings account." I was like, "Super Nintendo, right now. We're going right now." And she's like, "Okay." So we went to Toys R Us, and you had to go to the video game aisle, which had no video games in it, just those little slips of paper.
Right.
Got the slip that said like Super Nintendo, $250. Brought it to the dungeon in the front of the store because there was like one guy.
That in Monroeville, right? That Toys
yeah,
R Us?
Yeah, exactly right.
I remember
You
it.
just punched me in the face with nostalgia from that. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah,
until
you remember,
just mentioned
like
it.
you couldn't go and look at the video games. It was just a wall of papers, and you would pick the one that you wanted, and you had to go to the front of the store. Take note, those of you who are younger than 25, you had to go to the front of the store with that little stupid piece of paper. You had to pay with the little ticket. You took your paid ticket to the thing, and the keeper of the games would appear and hand you your precious piece of $80 plastic.
Yeah.
You also had to walk over barefoot on broken glass.
Yeah.
And answer 3 riddles.
The floor of Toys R Us was not paved. It was just broken glass.
But like, you walked up there as a 10-year-old kid.
Oh.
And just slapped
You
that
slapped
piece
that-
of paper
slapped that thing down?
Boom,
Yeah.
And just stared at the dude right in the eyes.
And he's just like,
And he looks at your mom. Like, don't look at her. Look at me. You saw what I want.
look at me. I am the owner now.
This is my chauffeur. Do not look at my chauffeur. You look at me.
Hey, pay this man.
Mom! And then you would take that video game home and you would play it for like 3 months because video games used to be hard. And then you would beat it and you would probably start over because you're not getting another video game until Christmas.
I
They were
remember
that expensive.
I got a Super Nintendo for Christmas when I was a kid, and I got one game with it. And I don't know if wherever my dad bought the Super Nintendo was giving like some sort of special, and he didn't know what to do. So the game that I got with my Super Nintendo was Populous.
That's the worst.
So I was like so stoked to have a Super Nintendo, and the one game that I had for probably 2 months was Populous. I was like, I don't even know what to do.
Come and play Populous, and they were like, no.
Well, for one, I really didn't have any friends to begin with. I'm not trying to be sad story, but I just didn't. I didn't have anybody to hang out with, and that was the one game I had. It was so weird. I never got good at it.
I don't even know how to play. Like, I think I downloaded it one time just to see what it was like, and I have no idea how to play Populous.
I don't know what the hell that
Is it
game
kinda
is.
No idea.
Was it like a Sim City type of game, right?
I think it's
think
some
so.
type of like, I just remember it being baloney.
I like how I like how you. It was the only game you had for a while, and you still don't know how to.
No.
You just turn it on and be like,
You know what? I
Okay.
still feel that way though. Like I don't really know how to play ET, but I love that game.
okay, no one knows how to play ET. It's impossible.
Also, nobody loves that game.
Yeah, nobody loves
I
ET.
love that game.
Okay,
I'll tell you.
Listen, I don't believe you.
there's a.
I swear, at least I remember loving that game. I was the kid who had like Atari until he was,
There's a landfill in California that speaks to the fact that no one loves that game. Literally not one person.
Hey, in the same vein, I got a contribution right now to the topic. So, terrible ideas for video games on consoles. Super Nintendo, Populous. No. E.T. on whatever it was. I've got one that I guarantee nobody else in here kept if they ever did make the mistake of buying it. NES, Where's Waldo?
Oh man, I can't imagine how bad that would be. Was it NES or Super NES?
It was
It
NES.
was NES.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds even worse.
Yeah, so the way the game happens, like, it's got the title screen, you got the cover of the box that looks like a Waldo book, which are kind of fun. I guess in retrospect, I don't know what was fun about it, but and there's the screen loads up and there's nothing moving. There's nothing moving. You're looking at a still image. There's no music.
Really?
I don't believe that there was any music on the Where's Waldo game. I don't think there was. It's just like looking at the page of a book.
I'm pretty sure there was music.
Really?
I remember there being music.
There had to have been music. I mean, I never played it, so I don't know. But I
Maybe I'm just
can't
remembering
imagine.
it being poorer than it was. Just like
How did you find
What's-
Waldo? Was there a like?
8-bit
Oh.
graphics.
Like
I was gonna say,
find a
if you use
Waldo,
the
but-
light gun.
No, it was like a little cursor, that you move with your controller, with your
Okay.
direction pad.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah.
So it was like grid based probably.
Yeah, but like the resolution, it's 8-bit resolution graphics, so it's worse than looking at the page of a book.
Okay.
The book is way more fun than the video game. How
Well-
often do you get to hear that?
I imagine like maybe you don't remember there being music because like you sat and looked at it for such a long time, the music just like stopped playing.
Maybe that was it.
Like it was only on a loop for so long.
And it just became part of your brain.
Yeah.
Like and you didn't hear it anymore.
You just become mesmerized by Where's Waldo on
So
Nintendo.
wait. So was the Where's Waldo video game like the book where like you're just encouraging children to stare at a television to find Waldo?
Exactly. Exactly. That is precisely right.
spicy.
Speaking of children, Brian, who just sat down, who's one of the main organizers for Pittsburgh Retro Gaming.
Let's hear it for Brian who organized all this thing. Yes.
Nobody
one
cares.
person.
There's one person. We thank you.
One person cares.
Dotson. We got Dotson here.
Thank you. Whoever you are, let me know. And I get turned off.
No, you're being recorded.
You were
It's just-
too hot for TV.
Yeah,
There we
too
go.
hot.
All right.
Yeah, one person cares. Whoever you are, let me know, and you'll get in free next year.
It was.
Everybody else
It was
is
her
paying
right
double.
there. She's the one who clapped. I'm looking at her right now. She clapped for you. She gets in free next year.
Right.
Yeah.
But
clap
everyone
to
else
him.
can pay double.
You'll get in free next year. Thank you for clapping and paying attention. Everyone else can just go about your business.
No,
Thanks for nothing.
Seriously, you should stop over and introduce yourself to Brian.
Yes.
He's had enough drinks where he'll hold up on this for next year. I promise.
He's really drunk.
Yeah. He is hammered. That's why this whole thing's falling apart.
Yeah, the
He has
wheels
made
are off.
several passes at me.
But literally, I watched Brian's son. Beat mercilessly 30-year-old women at I don't even know the name of the video game. It was no contest, and I looked down and I was like, I think this is Brian's kid. I only I saw his mohawk, his cool curly mohawk, and I was like, if he wasn't beating you, Brian would be intensely upset.
You
He has
had-
a 30-foot wall.
You had my attention so much more until you got to the end of that statement.
What?
I just watched Brian's son mercilessly beat 30-year-old women. And I was like, what? I am definitely paying attention to the rest of this.
He is a little bit of a hellraiser. That's why he's got the mohawk going on. You know. But yeah, I'm sure he's been playing video games pretty much since he could hold a controller. So I'm sorry, whoever you were, 30-year-old woman who my son mercilessly filleted, but it happens.
So how's the convention day going for you? It's a 4:45. We've been here for almost like 8 hours at this point. We've been here for a while.
The convention has been absolutely awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Anytime you go into one of these events, you feel like you're rolling the dice, and you're like, I'm super nerdy, and I really love what I'm nerdy about. I hope enough other people are as in love with what I'm nerdy about as I am, that they're actually going to show up for something like this.
Oh, yeah.
And, we exist primarily on the internet, and that's not the most social group of people, so they have that extra hurdle of trying to get those people to come and be social. And basically, the best way to sell it is like, come be dysfunctional with the rest of us.
Oh, yeah.
And
this is a safe place.
yes, exactly. And you know what? Today was a great safe place. We did gangbusters as far as attendance go. My wife was working the admission booth. She said it never stopped. People were rolling in the whole day, and not just like people coming and going. It was brand new faces walking in the doors. Everybody seemed like they found something that they liked or they wanted, and that's great. That's the whole reason why we do it.
That's awesome.
Chanel, your wife was saying that you sold 200 pre-sales, right?
Yeah, we just shy, maybe a hair shy of 200 tickets pre-sold.
And then you were saying that you had the new tickets. There was 150 gone.
Correct.
And then in addition to that, more tickets were sold.
An unknown quantity at that point because we had no way of tracking the attendance because we gave away all the printed tickets. So
That's awesome.
yeah, we're hoping we hit somewhere around the 500 mark in attendance. It's hard to say because people coming and going throughout the day.
Sure.
Right.
But, it was solid. It really was. I mean, every time I walked around the room and I thought, okay, this is it. The tide's going to go out now. I can walk a little more freely through the space and I'm not stifling, to breathe.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the tide would come back in and it'd be a whole new crush of people. And I knew it was a new crush of people because it was people that I knew who hadn't seen for the hours previous. And they're like, oh, yeah, I just got here. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was constant all day. I mean, even now we've given away all the free stuff and all the Children's Hospital prizes.
And there are still
And
people
there's
here.
still people here. And
Yeah.
usually that's when people are like, I'm out. I got my stuff.
Well, whenever
You know?
there's like a bunch of stations to just play old video games, that's awesome, and I think everyone really appreciates that. Like I was asked to be in an NBA Jam tournament earlier today,
From
to which
downtown.
I got to the second round, because in the first round I'm not sure if he's still here. I didn't get his name, but I played against somebody. I imagine he was probably like maybe 16, and I felt kind of bad because I was like, you don't know how to play NBA Jam. This game is older than you are. And also,
How
you
did
don't know
that go
you
for
have
you?
to pick the Bulls every time. Like, you got to pick the Bulls. Even though Michael Jordan is in the game, Scottie Pippen is Michael Jordan in the game. Like, that's the team you have to go with.
Yeah.
And then the second round was against the guy who was that guy right there. And he knew what he was doing. And I said, like, oh, I'm not going to pick the Bulls this time because I played him last time. I should have picked the Bulls.
Why, did he whoop
Spanked
you?
you.
Well, no, I lost by 10. So, it
Okay.
wasn't a spanking. I should have picked the ball. I played as David Robinson, who is not good at shooting threes. So it's just not.
I know he lost by 10 because this is the fourth time I've heard this damn story. It just happened 3 hours
This is
ago.
the second time I've told this story. You can just
This is the 10th time I've heard this
you
story.
can just save it.
Yeah, you can suck a toe.
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is today you were you're invited to be part of an NBA Jam tournament.
Yes.
I have been witness to you being invited to other kinds of jam tournaments.
What the hell does that even
much
mean?
Man, I'm limited on the words I can use. However,
We're challenging you today. We're putting you to task to
This
see
is-
exactly
yeah.
how deep your vocabulary
In
truly is.
some ways, this is kind of more fun.
Yeah.
Not being able to use any curse words at all.
Like I said before, I've heard artists say the more restricted they are, the
Yeah.
more creative, liberating it could be.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
here you go. Here's your challenge.
I can't remember the last time I told someone to save it.
You sound like my mother. Sorry, Mom.
No, Jared
I get the
remembers the Jam Tournament invitation.
No, what do I?
Remember the Jam Tournament invitation.
The jam
It's
tournament.
when a bunch of adults want to get together and non-musicians want to jam.
Oh yeah, sure.
This is nicer.
This is better than that. Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad for the people who have to carry in these CRT televisions.
Yeah, we
That's
lost
gotta
one of
be-
those today.
Yeah,
We had a casualty.
I can
Oh,
imagine.
boy.
Lost one like it was stolen or it was just busted.
It got dropped. Humpty Dumpty took a great fall. All of the King's men and all
Oh.
the King's horses could not put them together again.
The last one of those that I had got left where the last time I moved. I was like, nope, that's yours now. Our one remaining roommate, I was like, happy birthday, that's yours. I'll see you later.
Oddly enough, I'm actually considering starting a sub business of the PRG where we actually go and people pay us to take their Trinitrons out of their homes.
That's a good idea, actually.
Absolutely.
You get a bunch of free TVs that work, probably.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah. Man, like a 32-inch of one of those is really heavy.
hey, I'll one up that. My mom has a 36-incher that
Whoa.
she's not sure what to do with it. So,
That's what she
Well,
said.
Literally. Whoa! Whoa!
Come on, man. We were trying to
Whoa!
keep it clean.
You're the one that told us not to do stuff like that.
I know. I actually have two of the 36-inchers at home that I use in tandem.
hello again, princess. How are you? Oh, this is
Better
yours.
story.
As
The
your daughter
television
walks
in
up.
my living room is a 19-inch Trinitron that I have. I don't know if it's a Trinitron. It looks like it. It's my television.
I don't think they made a 19-inch Trinitron. I think Trinitron's like the bigger TV.
No, they do. They
Do
do.
they really?
They're very hard to find.
Really?
They are kind of a rare commodity,
Okay.
actually. and I
I've
would
seen
rather
it.
have them.
I've been in Dan's living room and I saw it, and it doesn't look like a TV.
No, it's a
It-
piece of furniture now.
It is.
He doesn't use it for a TV. It's just he just sits there. He puts stuff on it.
People have walked in and they said, "Why do you have a computer monitor on your end table?"
That's not a trend. That's not a Trinitron, is it?
No.
That's a like a flat TV.
Yeah.
The
that's-
Trinitron's like that over there, like an actual.
Yeah, some of them are curved tube.
Well, no, I meant what he has is like this thick.
It's a computer monitor.
Oh, it's a flat panel.
Yeah.
Not a flat
It's
screen.
not. Yeah. No, it's flat screen, but it's a flat panel.
Well,
Like
yeah, I know, but like
yeah.
that's how we differentiate because people you can get confused. Flat panel is what most modern televisions are.
You know, it just occurred to me that like TVs have gone from like convex to flat to concave.
Yeah.
Now the thing is like, oh, the fanciest TVs are the ones that are curved inwards. For some reason, I don't really understand why.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't have any need for new televisions. All my video game consoles are 30 years old. So I mean, I've seen them, but I don't know anything about them.
You don't want them to look extra crappy.
right?
When I see newer TVs that don't have RCA inputs, I'm like, well, what good is this?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do with it?
Same.
How do I plug this in?
100%.
I-
I'm exactly the same.
I can't plug my where am I supposed to plug in my VCR?
That's the exact. That's the thing. Is like I wanted to get a new television for my living room, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, where can I find a 60-inch flat screen that still has RCA inputs on it? Craigslist.
Well,
Is that it?
The funny thing is, like now, what you have to have is an RF adapter.
Yeah, I don't want to buy an adapter.
Because like first it was like you had to have an RF adapter because every TV was just coax, and then it was RC. Most of them had RCA, so you just like super easy plug it in, and then they took that away from you. But they all do still mostly have coax adapters because you can plug in your digital antenna to those,
Yeah.
and so now you have to find another RF adapter, which seems like super ancient technology.
We're reverse technology. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Pretty
we're
much
taking
the only
3
way to
steps
work
back.
around that is to get a
So-
VCR, run your coax into the VCR, and then run video out through AV into the TV.
Which makes it look even better.
right. I'm
So
sure
the-
that's phenomenal.
It looks so great
The
to run it
people-
through another device.
The people who won at the end of the day are the people that make those adapter units.
right. Right.
They're just like, ha.
Oh yeah.
I actually have a Atari 7800 here today that was resurrected from the grave by one of our PRG necromancers, and that console was coaxial out only, and he modified it so that it now runs
Oh, that's
AV
awesome.
out. So
That's great.
because coax is a pain in the butt.
It really is. But there's some guy who was for like 20 years has been like, I'm telling you, we're gonna do coax is gonna be a thing once again. I'm still making RF modulators. He's some guy tinkering in his basement, and then all the RCA inputs disappeared. He's like, Marie, I told you. People are going to be buying these again.
He emerges from the basement, a 65-year-old man dressed exactly like all of his 22-year-old customers. Like, thick glasses the whole night. He comes out and they're like, ah.
I hear you kids need some RF modulators.
When Jared and I lived together, I had one of these massive TVs, and I asked him, because I lived in the attic, and I asked him, I said, hey, can you move this 500-pound TV up to the attic for me? And we had 2 flights of stairs, 3 levels, including the attic. So begrudgingly, because Jared's a good guy, he did it. And it took like literally all of his muscle mass to move this thing by himself up the stairs. Because it's a one-person job. You just have to be ripped to carry this TV. And you hated me for it.
It's not a 2-person job because it's not quite big enough to be a 2-person job. It's a
almost-
1-person, like, awful job.
Yeah.
I almost became a widower.
Yeah.
Because of a 36-inch Trinitron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because my wife's like, oh, I can help you carry that. I'm like, honey, I love your gumption. And I really respect the optimism here. But, if we're going to do this, I should probably be on the bottom.
Yeah,
Give me
you
the
and I are
weight.
not carrying this up the
No,
stairs.
not at all.
With you on the bottom of
Well,
this. No.
Needless to say, it did go badly. And I'm still making it up to her to this day. But I'm not a widower, so, I give her credit for that. She took the hit like a champ.
She's
She's here today, right now.
Yeah, she's working a mission. She's sitting down all day.
Well, in fairness,
can't
she
walk.
was a competitive martial artist for a while.
True. She does know how to take
Oh,
a
she's
hit
the
from
one
a-
who can take
and
a
that's
hit.
fine.
Yeah, but we're talking the difference between like Taekwondo, which is a bunch of like skinny, light people like yourself, Dan. And I'm really struggling with my own guidelines today because it's hard. I almost dropped a couple there, or sumo. They're not designed to take a hit like that.
An unmoving, inexorable object and gravity.
Right.
It's hitting you in the chest hard, real hard.
Right. And I don't have my dobok.
She's like, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. Just get it off me.
So-
my own, that's what she said.
To end my story,
Yes.
remember when I went away with my girlfriend at the time for a weekend,
Oh, yeah.
and you turned my goddamn TV upside down that
Yeah.
weighed 500 pounds,
Yeah,
including the rest of my bedroom? Jared got wasted with his friends. Actually, I think it was
me and
just Robin, yeah.
Shout out to Robin. She's not here. Shout out to her.
And you wanted to go on the roof, so you guys went through because I lived in the attic, and you had to go through my room. And you went on the roof and came back in and looked at each other and said, let's turn all of Chris's furniture upside down.
And we did.
Yeah.
We broke a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah, you broke a bunch of stuff. I still haven't seen Mad Men because you broke my DVD collection.
Yeah, I'm still sorry about that. I did break his Mad Men collection. Season 1. Just season 1.
Just season
I
1.
broke a couple of discs to season 1. But we did turn one of those Trinitron TVs upside down. And let me just say, it still functioned just fine. You could turn that upside down. You could.
That's your one.
Yeah, I know.
Your one.
Nobody heard.
It was mild.
That TV's still a
All the
champ. It
kids are
still
gone
exists.
anyway. It's almost 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's later in the
It's
day.
5 to 5.
Sure.
all the kids that were here took Quaaludes. They're all asleep now.
Because we're amongst retro games, there's also retro drugs, too.
Exactly.
There's people selling Quaaludes.
Everybody
out of the
here is
back of
on
their
Quaaludes.
booth.
What's next? Barbiturates?
Oh, yeah. Barbiturates and Quaaludes.
Ludes, man. And whippets? Who knows what a whippet is?
Well,
Come on, everybody knows what a whippet is.
Whippets, yes. Whippets are still a thing.
There's nothing wrong with a whip it every once in a while.
But
There's nothing wrong with that.
I feel like in old songs they reference shit like Reds, taking a red. I don't even know what a red would do.
A what?
A red.
A red?
Reds and whites. And
You like pills?
yeah, I think you
I don't
take a
know.
red. And they.
I only think of the character from Jessica Jones with the reds and the whites and the blues.
Yeah.
Nuke, the cop, where he's taking the pills.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
gets
yeah.
all pumped
the
up.
same thing. They talk about that. I have
Yeah.
no idea. Somebody's like, "You want a red?" I don't know. It's my favorite flavor, popsicle.
Red brings you up. White evens you up. Blue brings you back down.
Easy.
Don't take a red without having a blue.
I like that 70s drug terms are just eventually turned into Gatorade flavors.
I was thinking Great American Chili Pops.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh,
Who doesn't love one of those?
Oh, okay. First, just real quick survey. I'm gonna go around the table real fast. Name your favorite flavor of Bomb Pop layer. Go.
Red.
White.
Red.
White.
White.
Dan.
White.
Nobody likes
I'm saying blue. Blue is my favorite. Like, what's
Are you serious?
Yeah. Blue's. Whatever. You guys are crazy. Blue's the best flavor. On the bottom of a Bomb Pop, you finally get to the blue raspberry flavor. That is
Okay,
nice.
everybody who's listening, favorite layer of the bomb pop? Red. Hands. Nobody. Good. White. Hands. Nobody. Good. Blue. Hands.
Oh yeah.
One.
Oh yeah. No, that's
Blue
two. That's two.
wins.
That's two right there.
Two
Two right there.
blue.
Boom. The entire crowd that's listening supports my decision.
All two.
All
of you.
two of them. Yeah.
All two of them.
The rest of you have never had
The
a bomb pop.
captive
and we're not
audience from
interested
Cartridges
in your
Galore who's just begging for 6 o'clock to get here so they can be away
Hey,
from this.
no.
Shout out
We're having
to,
a great time. We've been having. He was on the podcast earlier. Nick, right? Nick.
Yeah,
Nick
Cartridges
was on the podcast
galore.
earlier.
Shout outs.
Yeah. Shout out to Cartridges Galore. Yeah.
Best resellers around.
Yes. In fact, Nick, whenever if you want to come over and tell us where your stores are, you can do that. I don't know where they. I'll
There's
let you
a
say.
sign
Here.
where there's
Yeah, get on my
6 of
microphone.
them on the sign, but there's 10 stores.
Do you have any Quaaludes?
No. I don't even know if they're still good. So we have 10 total locations. We have 4 in Central PA. It's Altoona and Duncansville, Johnstown and State College. We have 5 in Maryland, Frederick, Hagerstown, LaVale, Cumberland, and Frostburg, and Morgantown, West Virginia.
Cool.
So when are you going to bring one to Pittsburgh?
Indiana was the next talk.
He said India.
Indiana was the next talks, and we're working our way westward, Pennsylvania.
So we'll have one in Indiana hopefully soon. That'll be good. Okay. Yeah.
It's in the talks, yeah.
Okay. Well, so what he said was they're in the talks with 2 stores. They just flipped, and hopefully we'll have one in Indiana very soon. Yes. Well, yeah.
And then in
Thank you.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then in Pittsburgh.
And then Pittsburgh. Yeah. Hopefully.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Your stand looks awesome. Yeah. I'm. If I were sure that my Super Nintendo worked, I would be over there spending way too much money, probably. Yeah. Well. Well.
I've told you.
Right,
If you need
yeah.
anything, this is where dreams come true.
I know.
This is where you can pursue all your childhood fantasies.
Well, you've seen my house, so yeah.
I have. I've
yeah,
seen the
it's
Mega
a-
Man for Super Nintendo that you have squirreled away, and your Jungle Green N64.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Conan sword on the wall, which
Yes.
we actually just. So just real fast, we got really drunk last night. Trevor and I got drunk last night, and I used the Conan sword to cut down a bunch of greenery around my house. It worked really well. That thing is razor sharp. It's great. It was great.
What time of night was this?
This was probably about 4 in the morning.
4 in the morning.
Sure, yeah.
And you were outside cutting down weeds with a sword?
Not weeds, tree branches.
Trees.
I'm sorry.
Mofo.
Yeah.
Because that makes a difference in this story.
It does make a difference. I wouldn't use it on weeds. I could just pull weeds out.
Was this before or after playing the new Zelda Breath of the Wild? 'Cause
I
that's
haven't-
what I could see would be
I
inspiring.
haven't played it yet. I need
No,
to play
it's
it.
excellent. You got
I
to
haven't
play
played
it, but maybe not.
It looks great.
because
I heard it's
I'm
great.
afraid of what it might inspire you to do.
No, for those of you listening, don't worry. I know that you're cringing because I just said I was cutting down trees with a sword. I oiled the sword afterwards and hung it back up. It's fine. Anyway, somebody else start. I've been talking for a long time. Somebody else say something. Brian?
So we've gone off the rails as expected, and that's totally fine. But let's bring it back in for a little bit. We don't got to go too much longer. We're about hitting an hour, so
Video game
we're
music,
almost there.
If I may, because I actually have
Oh
to
yeah, please,
I have to-
please.
I have to take off in a minute, but because I got a gig tonight. But you mentioned video game music earlier.
Yeah.
One thing that I brought up to you, Jared, and also Jared, Chuck. Yeah. For those who didn't hear earlier, Jared and myself are in a band,
Yes.
Midnight Rose. That's
Yes.
MIDKNIGHT. We got cards over here. Just come say hi. Anyway, now I was saying that we have one of the first things that I listened to a lot, music-wise. The Last Ninja was a Commodore 64 game.
Yes.
Had sweet music. You talked about having to be a programmer when composing the music for these video games. The guy who did the music there were 2 guys that did the music for that game. The guy who did most of the good parts, His name was Ben Daglish. He's like 50 now. This game came out in 1987, which means he was like 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Really good composer. You had to be a computer programmer at the same time. This guy did like 100 games in the span of 2 years.
Wow.
But it's all this like, Eastern Japanese like pentatonic music and stuff. So I teach guitar lessons, and this 8-year-old girl named Danica. Shout out Danica. I know you're not listening, but
We hope.
we hope. Fiddlesticks if you are.
No, she can listen to this one. There's
That's true,
very
she
little
can.
swearing on this one.
Maybe
Almost no swearing on this
I'll
one.
refer her to it. Anyway,
Very nearly.
I was showing her we got to a point where she was learning pentatonic scale, and she was like, "Oh, this sounds kind of Japanese." I was like, "It's some good Japanese music." There's this game that came out 30 years ago called The Last Ninja. I'll show you how to play the theme music to the Palace Gardens.
And she had no idea what you were talking
She
about.
had no idea what it was. Her dad knew what I was talking about.
Really?
And he was like, "Oh yeah, it sounds familiar." And I'm like, "Yeah, it does. It's awesome." so I actually I wrote out the opening of the theme for her, and I went home and I got my I haven't given it to her yet, but I have the soundtrack for that game that I burned a copy of, and I'm gonna bring it to her next lesson.
That's insane to me that he said it sounded familiar, because you personally are the only person I know that owned a Commodore 64. I don't know anybody else.
In America, it was pretty popular in Europe.
You know what?
was my
As
first-
I was saying that, I was
don't
like, I
have one
know he's
now.
going to say that he
I
has
don't have one
too.
now, but it was my first video game console. I
Okay.
had
There
a
you go.
Commodore 64.
The music sounded better on those than it did on Nintendo. Castlevania sounded better on Commodore than it did on Nintendo.
Let's do a quick Chris list of one. Tell me, we're going to go around your favorite 8 or 16-bit video game soundtrack.
Very good.
Easy.
Right.
Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was good.
It's a solid one.
Dan?
I'm gonna wait for me. I
All right.
played the least video games out of all.
All right,
of us, I
you
feel
can
like.
think about it. That's fine, Greg.
We're doing one right now?
Yeah, just one.
Okay, all right, one. I'm going to tell you right now, same thing. 1987, Commodore 64, The Last Ninja. If you want to get a sample of it, there are 6 levels.
Little known fact, Greg, 15 years ago, bought the rights to the soundtrack of The Last Ninja and is now plugging his own.
It's so stinking sweet. I just want to tell you that right now. But there are 6 levels. The best levels are level 2 and 2 and 3. 2 is the Wilderness. 3 is the Palace Gardens. If you look up The Last Ninja Palace Gardens or The Last Ninja Wilderness, man, the music to that is awesome. It's it's so good.
You're right. This sounds like when Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, everybody buy the Beatles, please.
Oh,
tell you-
Pepsi needs a
Best band of all
commercial
time.
I'll tell you the other
music?
thing.
Sure.
The other thing that's almost unique about that game is that the SID chip on the Commodore 64 had 3 channels on it. Most often, the composers would use one channel for the sound effects of the game, but that game had no sound effects, so that the computers would have a 3rd channel to work with and have more textures to play with on the music. So it's just, oh my God, I don't know. It's so good. Just check it out.
I need to introduce you to my buddy Kevin Lind, because
Yeah?
you two would geek out for hours talking about video game music, because that is like his bread and butter. And he would be right there on that level, like, oh my God, did you know they had 5 channels and they sacrificed 2 of them so this guy could have carte blanche to make this music? You two would hit it right off.
Yeah.
Greg has a potential friend over there, apparently.
I'll go say hi in a second.
Chris?
I have 2 answers here.
Okay, that's fine.
First one, what I consider the best video game soundtrack of all time,
Yep.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Okay.
Indisputably
Solid.
for the 16-bit era and beyond. Until you get in like modern era, there's whole symphonies in the soundtracks now, so that's a whole different ball game. But for like the 16, 8 up to 64-bit, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, in my opinion, there was actually, I just mentioned Michael Jackson. There were rumors for years, still rumors out there that Michael Jackson produced Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2. That's a legitimate rumor you can find online that people still stand by. That's how good those soundtracks are.
Wow. It's funny because he didn't even produce his own music. Quincy Jones did.
Exactly, yeah.
He was too busy spending his time on
Silly.
Sonic
You
the
mean he
Hedgehog.
didn't make the music for the game Moonwalker featuring Michael Jackson?
Oh my God, Moonwalker is amazing. I want
a great game.
I want to
Incredible
have
game.
the console, like the actual cabinet.
That's a great
That'd
game.
be amazing.
I owned Moonwalker on multiple systems. It was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah.
But my favorite if we're going back to like the MIDI era 16-bit, the Batman Returns video game for the Sega
Ooh,
Genesis
that's
is
a
my
good one.
favorite video game soundtrack.
That's a good one. I mean, it's kind of like Danny Elfman wrote that one though.
Not really. No, there's a lot of different level soundtracks in that game, and it was like almost Mortal Kombat-ish. Like it was kind of driving, and it was very pronounced. It was different than anything else available at that time.
I don't think I ever made it past the one with the level with the escalators. You had to go into Shrek's department store.
That's like the
level
second
2
level, I
or
think.
3, yeah.
That's what I was about to say though, because like it's bull-ish because
Okay,
You-
J-Rock.
what?
I'm saying.
You. No, because I agree, and I remember playing that game and be like, "Oh, the music is good. The music's good." But bye.
Bye, Natalie, Sophie. See
A
you later.
bunch of ladies just said bye to us. Proficiency.
People that came just to see us just left. We're popular.
But I heard it so much, like on repeat, you know, and it's like it got burned out to the point where like the music would come on, and it would make me want to stop playing the game because it would remind me of future failures, like inevitable future failures. Like, no, actually, this is uninspiring.
This is how much I love this game. This is a 100% true story. There is no hyperbole here. I got this game for the Sega Genesis. I lived down in Greenfield. I was like 5 or 6 years old, and I loved the soundtrack. And in the options on the Sega Genesis video games, you could listen to the full soundtrack, either the special effects or the music soundtracks. And you can just put that on in the options and listen to the different tracks.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I remember
they
that
knew it
shit.
was
Yeah.
good.
I mean,
Oh, they knew it was good. They knew it was
so great.
It was straight fire. Like, that's going to be on my mixtape when I launch my rap career.
You just actually reminded me the soundtrack for the most awkward fighting game of all time, Balls.
Oh, Balls is such a good game. It's such a good
That had
game.
a
forgot
sound
about
test,
that.
and the music is actually really tight on Balls.
Yeah.
Someone was like, "What if Vector Man was a fighting game?
But
Let's call it Balls."
I loved Batman Returns so much that I used to listen to it on my giant TV in my bedroom, like that guy over there we were talking about. And I had a Talkboy, and I recorded the soundtrack on my Talkboy and listened to it in bed.
Nerd.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Wow.
I also
that is something.
quick shout out to the Killer Instinct soundtrack.
That was
That's
good.
all.
Oh, yeah.
Kill Instincts was good.
Let's move it along. That was a long
I'm
one.
interested to
good
hear.
one.
Brian,
Good segment.
has a knowledge of video games that surpasses us all by, I mean, magnitude.
I don't know. Let's not get carried away here. I like to play video games. I don't necessarily like to know video games. All right, that's work.
Brian, just
fair.
your pick, and then pass it to Dan.
I'm gonna split mine. I'm gonna do two choices. I'm gonna split them by consoles of the 16-bit era.
Okay.
First one's gonna have to be, and I know it's a common choice, but it's a common choice for a reason. Final Fantasy 3 or 6.
that's a good one.
Japan.
Yeah,
I
great.
mean,
Great one.
the gameplay incorporated music long before even the Zelda franchise did.
Right.
I mean, there's a whole like orchestral like opera scene where it incorporates music. The music of the game takes you on a journey and it sets the tone. It's not just background noise. It really does set the tone, and it helps to expand beyond the limitations of 16-bit graphics. It really puts you in that moment. And then the next one is going to be on Sega Genesis. It's going to be Musha. Musha is a phenomenal game, and most people haven't played it.
I have not played that.
Yeah, it's in a very uncommon game. It's an expensive game. It's you're not something you're going to find cheap, and there's a reason for it. It's phenomenal. It's one of the vertical like spaceship mech shooters.
Oh,
But
okay, yeah.
The music is awesome. It's heavy. It's gritty. It sets the tone for the game, and it just pushes you to want to get through it. And shoot everything on the screen.
Is that related to Onimusha?
What's that?
Onimusha or Onimusha?
No, not only Musha. It's just
no,
Musha.
I know, but I'm saying, is that the
Related.
No,
predecessor
Musha.
to-
It's an acronym
Okay.
in this game, whereas Onimusha is Japanese.
Right,
Or,
but that's also a game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
PlayStation 2.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're not the same. They're not connected. They're
Okay.
completely different.
But that's also a shooting. Like
No,
a,
it's feudal Japan, samurai demons.
Oh, I'm thinking of what's it called? There's one. Okay, there's one that's also a flying shooting. Side. You can only move side to side, or top down shooting. I forget what it's called though.
There's tons of them. So
I
mean,
know. Yeah.
But
Okay,
Musha is one of the
sorry.
ones that it's a phenomenal game, and the music just really sets the pace for it. And I mean, if you never get a chance to play it because it is pricey, at least try to listen to it on YouTube and listen to the soundtrack. It's a good one.
Briefly, the Final Fantasy 3/6 game that you mentioned, I was really excited when Final Fantasy Anthology came out. When it was first released, it had a bonus third disc, which of course Final Fantasy Anthology was Final Fantasy 5 and 6 released for PlayStation 1. But when it was first released, I bought this, thankfully. It had the soundtrack to Final Fantasy 6 highlights on CD, so I could finally have that.
That is actually the only good thing about that version of the game.
Really? That version didn't
That game,
hold up?
in my opinion, that game struggles from so many issues. For whatever reason, so I looked into it because I was always curious to see how I could overcome it, find a different version of the game or a hacked version. So the game suffers from horrible loading times.
Oh.
So there's a lot in any RPG. You'll have a lot of transitioning in the screens and going between menus. Well, in the original game and in the Game Boy game, it's really quick. It's
a
seamless.
cartridge, yeah.
You don't notice it. In the PlayStation version,
cartridge.
it takes
Right.
exactly. But it's also the way the game's coded. The PlayStation version, for whatever reason, I don't know what this was. Maybe the coders were extremely intoxicated, but they made it so that every time you enter a battle, literally every enemy that exists in the game loads and is eliminated before the battle starts until it finds the enemy that you're supposed to fight. So it makes the game take forever to play.
Oh, gosh.
So you're right. The soundtrack having that is phenomenal, but I would rather have my fingernails ripped out than to play that version of the game
Oh,
because
geez.
it's like torture.
I didn't know that.
So, first, actually, the game I was thinking was Odama. Dan, your turn.
Mega Man 3. It
That's
sounds possibly cliched, but
good choice.
I love that fucking music, dude. I could
Yeah.
jam out to that. I would just leave the opening credits on and just let the music play for
Also-
a while. And just bob my head yeah, this is awesome.
Can we shout out Mega Man 2 as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Because
it's
Bubble
the same
Man
name.
is great.
Yeah.
That's maybe one of the best Mega Man tracks ever. Mega
Yep.
Man, the series, is good for a lot of. I mean, across all of the games, there's so many good.
There's so many good.
So many good songs.
The wood dude. It was like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Shit, I can listen to that all day.
Oh, okay. Actually, just real fast. If you guys remember playing Mega Man X3,
13.
no, Super Nintendo X3. So the opening level, you play as Mega Man. You start off. You go through the level about halfway. A character, I forget what his name is. Character shoots you and you're disabled for a second, and then he picks Mega Man up and Mega Man just gets taken away, and then the ceiling breaks, and down comes Zero, and his life bar comes up, and it starts playing this awesome music. And now you're controlling Zero. And I remember as a kid being like,
Holy
am I
shit.
Zero now? I'm playing as Zero? Oh, my God.
That's awesome.
It's one of the best, moments in video games. Because up until that point, Zero's just, this invincible character who keeps saving you throughout, the
Yeah.
first two games. Anyway. Mega Man
Wonderful
3.
franchise.
Yes.
What's the hardest game you've played?
Mega Man or...
Or anything.
Oh,
8
man.
or 16-bit.
Populous.
And we're full circle. God damn it, Dad! Why'd you do that to me?
One real quick last shout out to the best 16-bit game music. There's a game that came out recently called Coffee Crisis.
Oh,
the
yeah.
music and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It was transcribed from some band
it's
called
some
Grey
band,
Walker.
yeah, some band
Yeah.
did that one. That was pretty.
I,
hadn't heard,
I was
heard
under
it's
the
cool.
impression
Never heard of
that
'em,
that band
but it's
was
pretty good.
Grey Walker.
Yeah.
Is that? Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah.
Grey Walker.
Is it Grey Walker or is it Grey Walker?
It's a good question.
Great water. Green water.
Oh, I wasn't sure what the emphasis was. It Grey Walker or was it Grey Walker?
So it's Great Walker, and I believe that they just had a beer named after Great Walker from Great Lakes Brewing Company. Is that correct?
Sure.
Yeah. Is that that sounds right?
It's accurate.
Also, I didn't get to go yet.
What? You asked a question.
I know.
Go ahead.
Where didn't you get to
You
go,
didn't answer
Jared?
the question?
All right, so
What is the best music in a 16-bit era?
thank you, Chris.
Jared,
Oh,
what's the
that.
best music?
It is either, since got to two, either Super Mario World,
Oh, yeah.
because there are so many great songs in that game.
It's a world of music.
It's a world of music. Or The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening for Game Boy. The music in that is unbelievable. The
That's an
Ballad of the
interesting pick.
Windfish makes me cry. For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Dan brought up hardest video game that we've ever played. I think we should qualify that hardest video game.
Hard
that
because it's a good game or hard because it's a stupidly designed game?
yeah. Well,
One and the same, really. 'cause
populous.
Sometimes.
yeah. A lot of times. Yeah. I think it should be the hardest game that we've ever played to completion.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
I don't know.
That would be sex. Sometimes.
I don't know. What?
That went in a different direction.
Hardest game I've ever played. I don't have the hardest game that I ever played to completion, but I do have the hardest game that once got me thrown out of a video game store because it was so hard. And that would be King's Knight. And King's Knight.
King's Knight?
Original Battle
Battletech.
Yeah, that's a good
One,
one.
too.
It's
Yeah.
a good game, though.
But King's Knight is designed in such a way that the deck is completely stacked against you. There's 4 characters in the game. Each character has its own level. Each level has its like a hidden area that, unless you've played the game to complete memorization, you don't find this hidden level. And if you don't find the hidden level, you don't get the secret item for each level. And if you get to the last stage, which is possible even without all 4 characters, right when you get to the end of the game, a giant wall comes up and crushes you.
What?
And there's
That's
no
so
workaround.
mean.
It's just like, ha ha, kid, you just spent 4 hours of your life wasted. We're gonna go back to
Idiot.
the beginning. Right, exactly. So
That's great.
hardest game. But I'm gonna jet, guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for
Of
being
course.
here at the convention. Thanks for promoting
Thank you
it.
for having us.
Thank you for doing the convention.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank
Look
you.
at you.
Let's hear it for
Yo.
Brian one more time.
Where's that girl? Where's that one girl that clapped? Where you at?
Clap again.
Yes.
There she is. There's the one
Oh,
clapper.
there's 2. Okay.
Yep.
I hear them. They're in the back.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
to the guy over there.
Honestly,
least.
I mean, like, we appreciate it. Thanks to my partner Colt, all the guys in the PRG admin crew, Adam, Chris, Kevin, Christian, Bob. I appreciate it. My mom over there. Thanks to the guys from Mega Cats, James and his crew. Thank you for this opportunity, Maddie, Jay. It's been great. The show has exceeded our expectations. We raised money for charity, and that's awesome. And we had fun. And having you guys here just adds another layer to all that. And makes it a whole lot of makes it a good time.
Nonsense.
A unique experience. And besides, I get to watch you guys contort yourselves mentally as you try to figure out, Fluffernutter,
There are
All right, on that note, I'm out. Thank you guys. Have
Thanks,
fun,
man.
and we'll see you soon.
All right. See you soon, brother.
Should we wrap this up?
we should. We
Are
should.
done now?
We're
Guys, I gotta go.
20. I think we're doing pretty good.
All right.
I think we've done pretty good. I mean, it doesn't mean we have to stop talking and arguing with each other, but we can stop the recording.
After we're done with this, we're all gonna have a fist fight.
Yep.
Oh, guess who's not going to fist fight and guess who's going to drink more rum? Me.
Daniel.
Good. That means
Daniel.
I can then beat all these other people.
I'm also. No, that's fine. I'm not going to fist fight either.
Why don't
I was hoping you would say that.
I'm just going to be right.
Because the person I don't want to have to fist fight in a group of people is Dan.
I will say though,
all
I'm
of
going to
us
say because I don't think anybody
We
heard
have
Colt.
not
By the way,
talked
Colt,
about
thank you
Comic
for
Zone.
hosting us. Colt was a
Yeah,
magnificent
Cole.
host
Thanks,
today.
man.
Comic Zone is one of the best.
You're welcome.
One of my favorite games of all time.
It also
Comic
had a
Zone.
good soundtrack.
Comic Zone is a game that was not initially available for Super Nintendo, which is a really great game for Sega. That's fair. Yeah. Right. It's very difficult. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, you know what else had a good soundtrack? Maximum Carnage.
Oh, can we?
Maximum Carnage.
Oh,
yeah,
so
dude.
spicy.
You're right.
How
You're
about,
right.
How about F-Zero?
yeah.
Yeah.
F-Zero was good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
F-Zero was F though.
But
It's too
Maximum
hard.
Carnage, that's another crossover game that's good that we didn't talk about. We dropped the ball.
Oh, wait a minute. Turtles in Time. How about that?
Turtles in Time. Very good.
Also, an
Where am I
intensely
selling wood
difficult game that I wasn't very good at.
Turtles in Time?
Yeah.
Is it Turtles in Time that had the level name to bury my shell at Wounded Knee?
Yes. And that music is amazing.
And it, possibly the best name for a video game level of all time.
It's so great. That one, the music for that one's great. Skull and Crossbones is great. And also Sewer Surfing is great. Anyway, so let's.
Well, we really went off the rails there.
Yeah. Well, we didn't have a plan in the first place. So
None.
that's fine.
Well, yeah.
There were no rails to leave.
Did anyone ever beat the first Turtles game? Anybody?
Oh,
No.
you mean oh no.
Not the
original
arcade,
one?
but the
Can it
Nintendo
be,
one?
Yeah. Can it be
original.
done?
Like
Can you-
Turtles, the arcade game. In
The,
quotes.
no, the,
Yeah.
the arcade game, you
the
can
first
win.
one.
The arcade game is
Oh, I
winnable.
know what you're talking about.
The
Okay,
one
yeah.
before that,
Yeah.
The Turtle Van.
yeah.
With the horrible sewer level.
Yeah, that's the one I couldn't get past, the Rat King.
Yeah.
Yeah, impossible.
No, it's
The worst.
I
I mean, I don't remember if I beat it or not, but I assume I didn't.
I
was very young.
I don't think it's beatable. I really don't. I would like to know if it is.
I never had it because that game is straight up BS.
It is.
Well, listen. Anything is possible, just not with that attitude.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, let's dedicate some time and let's play this game.
Do we want to try and beat original?
Maybe we should. Maybe we should try and
Can
do
someone
this.
here just borrow
Does anybody
lend
have
us a
original-
copy?
Anybody here have original Ninja Turtles that we can just try to beat? Anybody? Nick? No?
And do you know if it can be
Oh
won?
man,
Oh,
asking you
this guy's
shall
got it.
receive.
original Ninja Turtles. There.
Cartridges galore.
All right. Yeah, he does have it.
He has anything you need. Nick
yeah.
has anything you need.
There's
Since
gotta
we're
be-
asking,
up.
do you have a copy of Blue Dragon for the Xbox 360?
That's
Big-
not,
What-
dog.
what
They're
did you say?
cartridges galore, not discs galore. Cartridges.
They got the Korean version over there. I don't
Wait,
want it.
What game?
Big Nose the Caveman.
I thought you said Battletoads Double Dragon in that game.
I don't know who
I have
makes
one of
it.
the
It was
best
like
games
one of those
ever.
QVC
I already
games.
own that. No, I need a Blue Dragon for the Xbox 360.
Blue Dragon. Oh, okay.
This is the place to have it, but
Shout outs to Nick and Ashley from Blackforge for leaving their stupid canvas thing here that's making my lap all hot.
Shout out to Nick. He's also at Epicast, which
I'm going to give it to some Republicans to burn.
houses both. Houses both of our podcasts. Hosts
Yeah. Check out the Grown-Up Human Comic people.
And check out start the beat with Sikes.
Yeah. We're all friends.
We are all friends.
And come
We're
to the
all
friends.
This is what happens when we try to do things together.
And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. We can learn to work and play and get along with each other. All right, that's
All right, until the next time, people.
Yep. Let's
Stay drunk.
outro it.
Stay
Everybody-
grateful.
give him a good
say
send off.
goodbye. Brian,
Bye, everybody.
Dan,
Goodbye.
Prius,
Bye.
Dan.
Hey, bye. Come down to the shop.
And bye from Greg, who
Yeah,
has
Greg was
left.
not here, but Greg says bye too.
Yeah.
Bye.
If anybody has a single younger sister, not too young, above the age of 21, Greg would appreciate you sending them his way.
Greg, I think we found somebody for your sister.
That was just so uncalled for.
And I think we're done.
I think we're done. Okay, Brian, tell them where they can find you. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Real Sikes. And yeah, this has been
You can
video
find us
games.
behind a dumpster on Southside. That's where we're gonna be.
Stop by
Straight up-
Southside Comics,
Straight up garbage people.
Garbage. Yes. Yeah.
Go to grownuphumans.com.
aka
That's-
straight up garbage people.
Go to epicastnetwork.com.
Got a straight up trash truck.
That's it. That's it, and that's all.
Holla at your boys.
Enough
What's
of this.
proficiency?
This is total nonsense.
Goodbye.
Proficiency.